our team as one of the QAs, and I've heard from my Ruby friends that some of you here, yung mga companies who doesn't have QA at all. So I'll be trying to encourage you to have at least one or even 10. So ayan, kasi I'll be discussing about the Agile QA process. I mean our process in Devex of the QA team, and as a basic principle kasi of our testing, it is always advisable that testing is done by a third party. Kasi the person or the team who has created the software will always think in the same way, as we all know. And the other reason is there will be always a tendency to judge your work as a good one. Syempre, you love your own. And third-party perspective is not taken into account. So if third-party tests the software, all of the I've cited issues will be tackled. And psychologically, tester will always try to find more fault. Parang the more the bugs, the better yung bug. Finally, ayun, mas better yung quality ng nire-release nating software. And so taking the cue, a lot of companies have independent QA teams within the organization. For like sa Devex, sa yung company ng, yung product ng Devex, they can afford of engaging even third party na, ayun, yun nga, yung QA team. So yun, wala siya sa slide ko kasi masyadong mahaba. And then, and yun, pinilit lang nila ako talaga magsalita. Hindi makaget over. And then the challenge was, so is QA part of the development team? Yes. Kasi we have, ayun, Agile testing kasi is all about applying yung principles and values to testing. And the value of Agile testing lies in effective communication between testers, developers, and sa product managers. And ayun, QA involves the entire development process about sa pag-monitor and pag-improve ng process, and making sure that any agreed upon standards is they are followed. And yun, can we fit QA in the same iteration as development? What I have here is a diagram. Kailangan ko talaga mag-mic na ko sa boses. Ayun. Parang galing sa solid. So ayun, we have a 3-week sprint iteration, of which the first week will be about designing or planning. And in Devex, we are the product manager, or the product owner here is the one discussing about the different specs. And on the second week, the developers here are coding. So on our part, the preparation for the QA testings are estimations, doing test cases, doing test scenarios, and even doing automated scripts. And the product, the tools that we are using are Selenium. The Selenium in our spec based on Ruby code. So if you can see somehow, the QAs are doing some minor codings. And then we also do the load testing or the performance testing where we are doing performance testing. Ayan. I won't go further.
We are doing benchmark tests for the previous build, which is currently in production, and benchmark for the current sprint, which is about to be deployed. So we usually compare whether we degraded in speed or improved a bit.
So what's your threshold for what is acceptable or not?
That's where the Abdex comes in. We have Abdex and New Relic, where we base all the figures from. So you can't normally say just like we have to render our page within 3 seconds. 1 to 3 second window, because that would be absurd because there are different load times. So you get the average for your site using this kind of tool, and then find out which are your best times and your worst times, and you hit for the average.
Any more questions?
Go on.
Questions. Who does QA? So like what I've said, the QA teams are the one, or the third-party people who are doing the testings. So, kabalik sa ulo. And, ayun. Do we need test plan, test cases, or user stories? Yes, definitely, because test cases are the one that defines, and the one that has, we are executing during the testing. And syempre, in the end of a story, it is not complete until testing is finished. And yeah, when do we know testing is done? And do we need to track bugs? Of course. Because we cannot just do it verbally na, we're using Redmine for tracking all the bugs. And once the bugs is verified, we are closing it. But if it's still unresolved, the ticket is, we are exchanging tickets with them until it is into closure. Then, syempre, we know that testing is done if, ayun, medyo, anong tawag doon? Ayun. Tapos na.
It's done when it's done.
So how do you ensure software is working? Test, test, test. And a good QA, I think, is very keen into details, has a test to break attitude, and yun. So who performs what? And the unit testing should be done by developers, and integration testing. I think yung sa TDD are ginagamit ng mga improver. So dito papasok yung system testing or functional testing done by the QAs. And regression is where inuulit-ulit lang yung mga testing and load testing. So, regression testing, and you fix one bug, you introduce several newer bugs. And I've been into a traditional company before. So, may na ako nag-agile na itong nag-Devex ako. And yun, within this criteria, ayan, ito yung difference niya with traditional QAE and sa Agile. So, in understanding requirements upfront, pero sa Agile, it's a constant interaction within the team and with the product owner. Sa planning naman, ayun, we plan one-time delivery which has to happen way later, while in Agile, continuous sprint by sprint planning, deliver important features first. Kasi, may nalang pa na lang. Kamad na. Yan. So, to hold this one, all known bugs should be fixed first. Continuous integration is continuous QA. So, meron pa ka dito mga features about mga panggulo lang na codes ng QA. So, software testing is where failure is, ayun, it's always an option. Improving the world one bug at a time. The software testing, you make it, we break it. Software testers don't break software, it's broken when we get it. So software testers, we break it because we care. Yan, trust but verify. Importante yan. The definition of an upgrade, take all bugs out, put new ones in. Kasi yan, we break software so you don't have to. I used to build software, now I break it. It's a lot more fun. I'll call this guilty until proven innocent. It's automation, not automagic. Quality assurance, we take the blame so you don't have to. Ayan, in God we trust, and for everything else we test. So ayan,
sorry.
Questions.
Yeah, I guess you guys have a lot of questions in mind because not all of you are very familiar and have QA processes. Yes.
So do you accept automatically fixed being a valid bug resolution?
Ano to? Biglang na-fix yung bug, would you consider it resolved?
Di lang na-deploy yung tamang
We like the elves. We leave milk and cookies out at that night. The elves that fixed the bug.
Sabagan mo, Graciel.
ano ulit yan?
Do you accept automatically fixed as a valid bug resolution? Like
Automatically
it fixed
fixed?
itself.
Walang umayos.
We can't explain it, but it just fixed by itself.
Clear cut.
Oh, really? But we have I don't know if it is happening in the natural world. Unless we can replicate it, then we find it all the more.
Yes, we had this back when we were not using Ruby, and we were still using our PHP, or not exactly using, but abusing PHP to the limits of the language. We have encountered certain bugs that are not easily reproduced. Like people are trying hard to reproduce the bugs, and for some reason, one release later, it got automatically fixed. Like, hey, it got fixed. Now, does your QA team accept those kinds of reasons/excuses for that matter?
I think we need to accept the fact that it is fixed, so we don't have to. But until it is being replicated, then we won't stop until. Ayun.
There's yeah.
Can you answer that? Here's my team lead.
The reason why I think that's the importance of tracking bugs, because the QA puts out an effort to give out the step-by-step ways on how the devs would be able to replicate the bugs found by QA. What we basically do before we file a bug to a developer, we make sure that the bug we found is consistent, and that it doesn't happen just once, twice, or thrice. And it doesn't happen, I mean, what you asked doesn't happen normally with the Devex developers.
There's also one thing I'd like to inject to that, no? Because your problem, with the way you discuss your problem, you weren't able to mention that the period of time. There are cases wherein, for example, in our case, we do QA in one sprint. So if we find that one bug there is really recurring, and like Frida said earlier, it's quite consistent, then we can't just accept the fact that it automatically fixes itself. But if it happens across like a span of 5 sprints or something, it's possible that a newer feature actually fixed an old problem or a vestigial problem that has been in production and can be replicated for quite a long time, and then suddenly gets fixed in this recent build. So sometimes that happens, but mostly because newer features were built on top of the old ones. But for a current sprint scenario, it rarely happens.
Yes, I would like to also add cases like that. Normally in the QA process, there's so-called regression testing, where you normally try to regress the features and all the features of the application where you could normally capture those failing or tests that normally can be reproduced.
Noted. Oh, by the way, we would recommend, since we know that Selenium is slow, we are also using this Ruby gem called Capybara, which is much faster. The only drawback is it doesn't do JavaScript very well.
Yeah.
But at least for most of the cases, you just want this particular view to be rendered in Capybara would fit just as well.
So, the devs do already use Capybara, but the devs already use those tools. I think the problem at the moment is actually to bridge the gap to Ruby, in the sense that they use Selenium a lot, and we don't actually, the RSpec tests they have are separate with the integration in the unit tests we have on the code base. So in one sense, even though they're using Ruby, they're not actually, those tests are purely agnostic of the technology being used. So we like to maintain it that way. That way we have 2 layers of testing. So we've only just recently actually fully adopted BDD. So that's recent, as like 3 months ago. People were doing it on their own for a while. But now the entire team has embraced it. And that's the way we're doing it actually right now. So, yeah. But I agree, Capybara is great for those kinds of tests where all we're doing is validating content or page loads or transitions and whatever. But when it comes to JavaScript, sometimes it's very painful to... I would suggest updating. There were some stuff I wasn't able to do with the current version of the Capybara that's currently on our code base. That was actually possible thanks to Errol showed me some of those, especially with nested forms. Yeah, they've been having problems with nested forms in BDD windows.
I would like to add something to that. Actually, Capybara has Selenium bindings for testing JavaScript in Ajax. It actually does allow you to test Ajax forms a bit.
Yeah,
the newer Capybara versions. And I think there's another JavaScript driver, forgot the name, which you can plug in instead of Selenium.
Capybara doesn't play nice with light boxes.
Yes.
And when your JavaScript becomes a bit too complicated, for example, when you're dealing with one-form validations and this.
Well, for those cases, you could use something like Jasmine.
Jasmine, yeah.
Which was originally developed for the POP read.
For jQuery BDD.
Any other questions for the QA process? Sana? So I guess we can proceed with cloud-related presentation.